Hey guys, it's Sam. It's been a few weeks. I've been trying to kind of stay in the zone and kind of decide where I am. Big shock and surprise. We are almost midway through October, and although I have my lineup decided for 2026, I really don't know how I'm going to use my planners. If you've been around here a while, you know that I have one idea in my head for what kind of planner I want to be and memory keeping and all of that. And then there is reality, and those things aren't usually the same thing. So I've kind of always found myself going through cycles of planner peace-ish and planner chaos, and then trying to make multiple things work and then freaking out because I have multiple things to keep up with. So I'm in the same place now. Um, and of course, it used to just always be the Hobonichi weeks and rings, and then sometimes I would try to find something new. And now I have three systems that I really love, and now I'm complicating things even more with the whole journaling situation. So if you're interested in hearing my rambly thoughts about my planning process and what my possible plans are for 2026, stay tuned. This is probably going to be a chatty video because this is me working through with you all the thoughts that I have had inside my head. Sometimes I write them down on paper, sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't, and then sometimes I really work through things well when I'm trying to discuss it with you guys. An extrovert as far as like Myers-Briggs goes, and I've talked about that a lot here. I like my solitude, my time with just my people, hanging out in my house. So I'm not like extroverted as far as like I want outings and stuff, but I work through my inside thoughts outside. I'm often bouncing these kinds of things off on my husband, and he is wonderful to listen to them all. But since stationery is something that I assume if you're here watching this video, we share a passion for, then it always makes sense to me to bring it to you guys to talk about. Um, Per usual, I don't have any kind of real plan, but I have written out in my Hobonichi weeks kind of what my plans are for my planners for the year. So let me find that page. All right. This is my attempt to use my back pages with my Hobonichi weeks more, and attempting to use other pens other than my U Brands felt tip pen, but right now it still feels very foreign to me. Okay, so my main plans are to use a Hobonichi Weeks as my main planner. There's going to be air quotes there, and a memory keeper. My personal rings for also my main planner. And one of the things that I really love about rings is you can print out all the trackers. I know that a lot of people do a really good job of hand drawing trackers in the back of their Hobonichi weeks, but I just don't like the way that looks. My brain kind of rejects it, so I don't find myself doing that. Using a standard TN, which, oh, I don't even have that out here because it's not a planner. Using my standard TN as my junk journal and my passport TN as a planner hop situation. And since this is going so well, of course, I would complicate things this year and introduce the Hobonichi Techo in English. Um, all of the covers except for the Traveler's Notebooks and my MeePlus Rings Planner, all of the covers that I'm going to be using this year are from Jenica's journals. I'll leave a link to her shop below. I don't have any discounts or anything for you. She's just amazing to work with and does a great job. And if you're in need of a planner cover of any kind, strings or without strings, I highly recommend her. And then a large daily Moleskine, which this of course is not it, but I'm going to use that for work. And new to my lineup is a Moleskine Expanded for scripture writing. So I have been writing, I'm only in Matthew, like chapter 6. But you got to start somewhere. I am going to be writing the New Testament from here until I complete it, which I honestly have no idea how long that's going to take. I used to do much shorter challenges in books. I think they're called journables. I don't know if it's still around or not, but I used to do it years ago. So it would take like one book and you would copy that book of the Bible into the one book. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just fill as many moleskines as I needed to. So that's new to the lineup, but not a planner. It's just a book I'm going to be using. So I did leave myself some notes. So the Hobonichi weeks, I have such high expectations of making this my main and only planner. I want this to be the book that goes everywhere and that looks all scratched up and messed up and is just organically my planner. But I have talked many times about I just kind of have a disconnect in my brain because I see this as a memory keeper. And I know that I don't make sense because I will also hold on to scratched up notes. I haven't thrown out my pen and gear notebooks, which don't have the most neat notes. I'm so far this year keeping my personal rings pages as well, but I don't know. There's something about the Hobonichi weeks that I just want it to look a certain way, and the same pen, and I don't know why. It's just the way it is. And I always have these ideas that I'm going to take an old one that I stopped using over the year and scratch it up and like get that out of my system so that I get used to seeing it like that, and that's going to be the way I use it. And then it just never happens. And I'd like to change that. I love to see people's scrawled up Hobonichi weeks. It's just something that like my brain won't allow me to do. I'm sure that I have something that has letters and should require medication, but it doesn't matter. And this is all like, I used to get kind of caught up in the kind of anxious feelings about all of this because I can't get things settled. And I've just kind of tried to learn to ride the wave and to just go with the flow because obviously this isn't like crazy important bad stuff. But if you struggle like I do with anxiety and other issues, you just kind of want your book to work and not to think about it. But then I see something else that I like, and then squirrel moments happen, and then I want to try this and that, and then I get away from the things that I said I was going to focus on, and too much to choose from. Definitely analysis, paralysis, choice overload, all of the things. So I have been using the Hobonichi weeks and only the Hobonichi weeks for the last probably month and a half. And I know that I could make this work as my planner, and it'd be the only book that I carry. But I have other things that I love and enjoy and want to use, and I think that I just need to get used to the fact that I kind of go through seasons. And as long as the information is being kept somewhere, then like no harm has been done. I do still have blank blank pages in this that I'm trying to catch up on so that I have everything from the year in here. And that's the kind of thing that I need to keep telling myself is it only takes me a few minutes in the evening if my Hobonichi weeks isn't my come everywhere with me planner for that week or that month or that season or whatever. But if I continue to updating it very quickly at the end of the evening, then I don't have to do all of that back work. And this is really the planner that no matter what I want to add to that giant stack that's currently sitting on my shelf. So I try to keep some things with me, because the problem with the Hobonichi weeks for me is that I see the beauty of the bound book in a memory, but I also have a negative thought process for it as far as writing down scratch notes. So I try to keep post-its. I'll grab a note at work. I sometimes keep a notepad with me or a pen and gear notebook, and then I'll take anything that I think is most important for my rings. This is like my symptoms tracker for my health, and so I have tucked this in there to attempt to keep that up while I'm not carrying my rings, because for me that's kind of one of the more important things that I want to have record of. So I have attempted to do that with this. So the Hobonichi Weeks it's definitely if I could get over myself, this could be my one and done, my only planner. It packs such a punch in such a small form factor. It has your yearly overviews, a place for me to put my PTO. I can't find my stickers that I started this with to continue filling up the months. This month, I usually use my Hobonichi weeks much more regularly than I have been using it this year, but there was the whole paper situation. And if you didn't get a bad batch of paper, good on you. That's not the life that I ended up with. Uh, if you'll look, I have 0 decorations on any month except for October. These are all from the washi tape shop. These are, they're the PET tape rolls, and these have been really fun. I have a couple of other washi tape shop. This is from Paper Minty Studio, and these are washi tape. And then this week, my birthday was yesterday, so this is my birthday week, and these are from Cat Collage Club. And of course, it was just perfect because the theme, one of the themes for the subscription this month was the birthday. So I thought that was perfect. So I had to put some birthday stuff in for my birthday week. But yeah, so Hobonichi Weeks is definitely staying in the system. But I feel like I can't completely commit. Now I'm going to lose my notes page here where I had all of my plans for the year. This probably means something. That's how it's going to go with my planners this year. Okay, so personal rings, and I think I have only done an unboxing of this here on this channel so far. This is a MeePlus Slim Pad, I think is what it's called, and this one has a brass spine and gold Krause rings, and gosh, at the moment I can't remember the color of it, but it has 16 millimeter rings, and I don't love a chunky planner, and I don't love a chunky rings planner, so this definitely causes me to only take with me what I absolutely need. And I stopped using this for a few weeks, but I'm in that kind of space where I think that yes, we go through seasons, or we change jobs or life situations and all of that. But for me, I feel like fall is so busy. It's time for birthday, and it's time to start planning Christmas shopping ideas, or tracking the things that you have purchased for Christmas, and your Thanksgiving menu. And I feel like there's a lot of things going on. And that's when I feel like for me personally, I need most all of the blank pages to scratch notes down on, and more times that I feel like I need that like daily page or whatever. And so I feel like with rings, it just is very customizable, and I get rid of what I don't need and I bring into it what I do need. And so I'm going to go back to carrying my rings. I had this, I posted it on Instagram the other day. I was like, maybe I'll just carry 3 planners around, because if I have a down moment, I might want to update my Hobonichi weeks. But if I'm really busy, then I just want my rings. And then I carried this most of the summer, and this has been the most darling little addition to my planner lineup, and I love it so much. But at this moment, I'm like not sure kind of what to do with it. Like these have been my two steady bouncing back and forth in and out of or using at the same time planners consistently. This has been what I go between. And then this year I decided I really wanted to try something new, and I ended up falling in love with the Traveler's Notebook system, and Passport was my main planner for a while. The things that kind of I don't love about this is that I really enjoy, let's see, I really enjoy in the Hobonichi weeks. Let me put my little pencil board here so I remember where I am. In the Hobonichi weeks, I really love that I have the planning and the memory, and then kind of I love to put my workouts and my tracking and all of that. And it's a little harder to replicate here, but this is just something about it. And I don't normally love writing without grids. But I've talked before, one of the things about the Hobonichi weeks that's a struggle for me is that I don't have the tiniest handwriting. And I love that even though it's going to be messy because I don't have lines and I can't write straight on my own, that I don't have to fit within any kind of grid. I just write however large or small I need. So this has worked really well for that. And instead of it being, an in-your-face to-do list or whatever, it's the things that I have to accomplish on each day. So that has worked pretty well. I would, kind of write down the workout that I did that day so that I could add it to my tracker. So I have in here the monthly, the weekly, and a grid for a daily or notes or whatever I wanted. This is, I look in here and I'm like, why am I not carrying this as my only planner? Like this one works really, 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 really well for me. I guess the only downside is that I don't have, again, like with this one, I don't have the tracking pages. And then of course, unlike the Hobonichi weeks that I can just tuck that in, this is smaller. And so you're limited to what you can add to this, unless you fold it up or whatever. And I'm just not about doing that much. So this, okay, so I was trying to come up with okay. Oh, this is my brain. Okay, so at first I was like, okay, well maybe I set the rings to the side for right now, and I use the Hobonichi weeks, and then this can be like my pen and gear notebook. But I also love these weekly pages, so why would I leave these out? But then I was like, I don't know. Then I pick this up and I start looking through it, and I'm like, but this could just be your only planner, because as much as I like to complicate things, I guess, I don't have a really complicated life, and this could work on its own. And that's kind of like the same with all of these books. This could work on its own with some post-its or a notebook or whatever, or a mega, which I just don't want the mega. Obviously, this could work on its own. This could work on its own, and this has planning possibilities within it. This could work on its own. And also, this can work on its own. Oh yeah, sorry, one more, and then the Hobonichi A6. I have all of these books that I could say this is the only book that I have this year. But there's things about all of them that I love so much that I want to have them all, and then I get stressed out because I have so much to choose from, and I'm only doing it to myself, and I understand that, but that doesn't mean that I can fix it either. So yeah, let's get back to where we were here. All right, so the personal rings and the Hobonichi were the main guys, and then I could either keep this updated. I just need to make that rule to myself. No matter what you do, this needs updated at the end of the day. Am I going to do that? I just have times where I'm like, you can't tell me what to do, even though I'm the one who told me what to do. And then the rings, which I just love rings so much, especially in this small form factor. I mean, goodness, how beautiful is that? All right. Anyway, and then the same thing for the Passport TN. It is all the things that I need, catch that need. So this is like my idea of, I know that all of these things work really well for me as a planner, so I'm just going to have them all ready to go for a planner hop. And I know that there's like consumption there and all of that, but I've really tried this year to think through what I actually need. So the personal rings, I don't have anything that I really have to buy for this unless it was like a download or a Filofax insert for a month, a dated monthly. Everything else I've purchased over however many years, and I can just print it back out. Like, I have the paper, I have the ink, I've already purchased the inserts, and I just need to print another one. So for me, it's very small as far as an investment goes. With the TN pre-order, was that like 2 weeks ago? I did order inserts for this passport. So that is going to be an option for me, not just for like a notebook or a wallet or whatever, but I will have planning capabilities coming for 2026 for this as well. The standard TN, although initially I thought that it was going to be a great replacement for my Hobonichi weeks, I just, something about it, it was just, I don't know, perfect. Maybe it was too perfect. I don't know. I initially was really, really loving this, and then I just kind of missed the quirkiness of the Hobonichi weeks. So yes, was it perfect? It absolutely was. But I just didn't find myself wanting to come in here and update it in the same way. And it could have been, I would have felt the same about my Hobonichi weeks at that same time, but that's not the story that I told myself. Oh my gosh. I think I just found the stickers I was looking for. Oh my gosh. I've been looking for these stickers everywhere. This is what happens. This is what happens, guys. Yes. These are the stickers I need for my Hobonichi weeks. I've been looking everywhere for these stickers. Oh my gosh. Okay. This makes sense. Why I never looked here, I'll never know. But so even though at the moment it's not been working for me, because I haven't allowed it to work for me, I guess. I did not order dated inserts for next year. This is the kind of hack that I've come up with. I think other people have come up with hacks that seem better, but this just has worked for me and how I want to use it. I have my craft folder turned inside out, and I have the clear folder through the elastic, and then I have the craft folder through the elastic, and then I have the back cover of my journal insert and the front cover of the planner through. And is it really secure? No, but it's really easy for me to get this in and out to journal in like flat on the table. So that's worked for me. So yeah, I felt kind of proud of myself because I feel like if it had been a couple of years ago, I would have just bought everything. I could regret that, and I might end up ordering it in the future anyway, but I don't plan to. So I'm just going to continue using this as a journal system. So I'm probably going to regret this too. Okay, so I have sucked at journaling historically, and like I haven't journaled over the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, because we've had some stuff going on. I've been very anxious, and I have talked before, when I'm anxious, I don't journal, and I know that a lot of people do. I cannot. I'm the kind of person that putting things on paper cements all of my anxieties. It makes them louder, more real, and I would rather talk it out than write it down when it comes to those kinds of things. And so I usually kind of just clam up altogether and avoid all of this kind of stuff when I'm not feeling well. So that is why this year I tried this undated, smaller insert to not give myself the stress of a dated. So of course, then what do? I say, all right, well then next year you're definitely going to use a dated journal. And since you suck at journaling, you might as well make yourself do two. And I'm still kind of trying to work through this. I think that I'm going to make this more like an actual junk journal. We'll see. With some writing, I'm not sure. And then this is just going to be the daily happenings kind of thing. Like this is going to be like, oh, fun things happened. And this is going to be just kind of a word of the day or something, and a snippet of a memory. I still don't think that it's the worst plan, even though it's dated, because the space is so small. So we'll see. I might regret this. I don't know. Time will tell. I guess you guys will find out with me. So yeah, if options stress me out, why not just give myself more? The large daily Moleskine, which I did use for a few, was it months? Let's see. I was in here in April. I was in here in May. I love this book. I love this book. So why did I not continue with this? Not having a weekly view right in my face. I missed that. And I'm a weekly planner, and so not having this was giving me some stress. And there are things that you can do to work around that. I didn't want to do them. It's as simple as that. But this book has worked beautifully for me at work. I have used this every single day. I'll even use the like Saturday and Sunday pages, which I'm not using at work, and I'll take notes for meetings or, notes for things that I'm learning, that kind of thing. So this works really, really well at work. I have used this every single day since sometime in February when I purchased that planner. So for work, it's working beautifully. I love the Moleskine paper. I know that not everybody feels that way, but I'm not using fountain pens in it. And I haven't had in the one that I'm using at work, I do use like highlighters, and I haven't had bleed through. I know that not everyone has had that same experience, but for me, I love the paper. I love the spacing. I love the book size. I love everything about this. And I have contemplated getting two of these for next year, because there's the chance always that I'm going to want to planner hop into this. And I haven't purchased anything yet. I might wait because they do discount them if you like buy them in like February. And if I'm not feeling the need to move into this at the end of the year, then if it's going to be a planner hop item, I'd rather not pay as much money for it. I will buy one soon for work because I know that's what I'm going to use. But as far as like the planner hop, I just might. I've kind of been like, do I want a pocket or a large? But I really just kind of love all of the space and, like sitting it in your lap, in the car, all of those kinds of things about this size. So I have definitely considered getting two just in case. We'll see. But for now, I only have for real plans of getting it for work. And then the Moleskine Expanded, like I said, not a planner, not a journal, but a book that I have purchased. I'm not going to change at the beginning of the year. I'll obviously use this until all the pages are about up. I'm doing about 2 pages a day. So when I get closer to the end, I'll order a new book to have it here and ready for me. But those are like the stationary items that I am planning to use for next year. Goodness, I don't think that's showing up on camera, but the sun is absolutely blinding me. I have been using, since I'm only writing in the New Testament, I have been carrying with me this little ESV, which doesn't have any kind of notes or any of that. I love that it's a single column and it's in a paragraph style, and there's nothing around it to kind of take my mind away from just the words, because I'm just copying it. It's not like a Bible study. It's just a scripture writing. So I've been pairing these together, and that has been working well. I didn't want a larger Bible to go with this larger notebook. All right, so that, yeah, those are my plans, which I feel like every year I can just see it now. I'll be like, I have these 15 things, and then next year I'm going to be like, I only want one stupid book. This was the worst year ever. I'm hoping not. I'm trying to like be okay with, oh, I'm bored, or I saw somebody's Instagram photo and I was like, oh yes, Rings is beautiful. Why am I not in Rings? With really, I'm hoping this is either with me because I'm currently loving it and using it, or it stays at home and I update it daily. And then these would be what comes with me every day, if not this one. But it's okay with me if these aren't updated. And then again, if I'm like, oh no, I want to update the pocket, the passport, that takes like 2 seconds. So it's not that big of a deal. And I don't do any kind of decoration or anything in my personal rings. It's literally just functional. I mean, sometimes I print out something like this, but like I have these stickers to make the months, passing noted. And then this week I put some washi hair because I usually decorate more in October, but this is literally the extent of it. Like I just, whatever pen I have in hand, whatever highlighter I have in hand, and I just go with it. And that's why I always go back to rings, because it's so darn functional for me. And I would say that the Daily Moleskine also feels like that. Like I've been using it so much for like dirty work planning that I would not ever think anything about just scratching this up, which is very appealing to me as well. Where the Hobonichi Weeks feels so precious, this is the complete opposite of that. But the Hobonichi Weeks is the book that I have this giant stack of. So I want to keep this going. Again, it's a small book, so keeping this updated is not stressful. It's just stressful when I want this and this and this and all of the things. And then, that 5 minutes adds up to 10 and 15, and then a half an hour later, and I'm like, but I wanted to go on a walk. So those are the thoughts that I have leading into the year. And boy, the one thing I guess in all of this that I'm a little worried about is the journaling situation, because planning comes naturally to me. Journaling does not. So this is the only part where I'm like, are you actually going to be able to keep up with this? Because I'm not sure if I will. But I don't like feel bad about letting journaling go. So, I mean, if I think about this like a junk journal, it's definitely okay if I don't use this every day. I would like to put a snippet here. And some of you might be thinking, well, then just don't use a daily and a weekly, but I don't know. They just provide different things, I think. I really like to see the overview of my week in a memory keeping format. And then daily thoughts, it's just completely different. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Or do you have clarity that I don't, and you're like, oh no, you absolutely don't need to use insert whatever you think I don't need to use for this year. What about you? Are things looking this muddy for you? Like for me, again, I'm not giving myself a bunch of stress about using them all at the same time. It's just, I know that I like options, and so I'm going to make sure that my options are here for me. Last year, I made the mistake of saying one planner and one planner only for the whole year, which ended up being Hobonichi, which in theory should have worked great. Besides rings, Hobonichi is like the only book that I have carried for years and years and years. Like I showed my stack on Instagram the other day, like literally like 9 years. So it should have worked, but we had the whole paper fiasco. And then I branched out and tried so many things, so many things. I wasted money. I frustrated myself. And so I know that I love this. 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 So I'm like, well, I'll just have them here, and then I don't have to stress about it. I'll have them in play, and then whatever one or two or three I feel like using at a time, then I don't have to think about it. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it either. If I didn't have the money to feed my family or pay the electric bill, I would not have multiple planners to play with. But this is like my hobby. I don't go places and do things except for see Metallica. Um, I don't have, expensive clothes or whatever. So this and like bags are my only real things that I spend money on. And I have a YouTube channel that pays for that for the most part. And so I'm not going to feel guilty about having these options because it's what I like to do with my time. I don't do drugs. I play with planners and stationery. So I'm not stressed about that. I'm just like looking for holes in my plans and trying to figure out ahead of time how this is going to backfire. But I think if I keep things loose and easy and no, gosh, I think that if I keep things not serious and just know that I can pick any of these things up at any time, I think that it's going to work well. But I also know that I can get super stressed and over worked up about what's like falling behind or missing. So, yeah, if you have any thoughts about this whole lineup and where you think maybe I could change things, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And I'd also love to hear from you. Do you have one planner on your mind for this year? I love all of you who just pick a planner and you go with it and you're like, if I hate it, then I know not to buy it next year. I wish my brain worked like that. But I'd love to hear what you guys have planned for 2026 in the comments below. If you lasted this long, thanks so much for joining me. I will leave the link for Jenica's shop in the comments, and then the MeePlus, I do have a discount code for you. I'll leave that in the comments. Nope. I'll leave that in the description box as well. I'll also leave some things in my Amazon links for you if you're interested in some things like pens, highlighters, markers, my Bible, those kinds of things. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here and don't want to miss out on future videos or how I crash and burn for 2026, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye guys.